Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist, and today we're going to be doing some Phantom Knight test hands. So I'm really excited for this one, guys, because this deck just got some insane new support in Phantom Rage, and I am super excited to actually show you guys some of the really cool combos in this deck, because this deck is very versatile in what it's trying to do, which is super cool. Mainly what you're trying to do is get out your Rusty Bardige with multiple negations in the back row with your Fog Blades, but there's so many new aspects to this deck that helps you OTK your opponent, and it's just an overall insane and fun deck. It's probably turning into one of my favorite decks to play around with now. So without further ado, guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can come part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below because we have some awesome rewards, you guys, like getting your name description for every single video, getting a signed card sent in the mail, or even getting each requested deck profile every single month to your patron along with test hands. So let's get straight on into this. So this deck is really fun to play around with. I highly recommend you guys, if you're gonna pick up Phantom Knights, you should totally do it because they are really fun. It is not a super budget deck because just playing around with the copies of Torn Scales, they can be anywhere from $20 to $25, even $30. I'm recording this right before Phantom Rage actually releases, so I don't know exactly what they're settled at. I'm still like waiting on mine in the mail, so I'm still proxying them for this particular like test hand, but I kind of wanted to show you guys with proxies too. Like if you're just play testing and doing what I'm doing where you're just solitarying against yourself, it's totally fine to use them. Just don't carry them to a tournament. But they're still fun to use when you're trying to like play test. If you guys want to see really good proxies too, I have a video for that as well, if you guys want to check that out. And the deck profile for this, like always, will be down in the description below. So let's go ahead and pile shuffle the deck up really quick and see what we can actually pull off. Because this deck, like I said, it's very versatile, because you have so many different combos that you can actually go into. There's small sub engines in here, like your copies of your Malabranches, that's going to help you get additional combos rolling in this deck. And there's just overall some really amazing plays that this deck can pull off, especially with multiple negations in the back row with your Bardige plays, and even getting out stuff like your copy of Nightmare Unicorn on your opponent's turn. So let's go ahead and see what we can pull off. So we're going to go ahead and draw for turn and draw into a Fog Blade, a Seer, another Fog Blade, well I guess we won't be searching those, Torn Scales, and a copy of Danger Tatsunoko. This is not a bad hand at all because you have the copy of the Danger and you have the Phantom Knight in your hand as well, that you can just discard a card to send any Phantom Knight from your deck to the graveyard. So you have backup plays if you need them. So we're going to go ahead and normal summon out our copy of the Torn Scales, and plus you can have to use the copy of Torn Scales with the copy of Tatsunoko that has the ability or Danger Noodle. If it's discarded, then you get to special summon it, which is pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and discard this, and then this is going to chain to this, so it's going to special summon, and after this is resolves. So we're going to go ahead and use the copy of Torn Scales to send a Phantom Knight from our deck to the graveyard, which I am going to send a copy of Ancient Cloak from my deck to the graveyard, which is going to help us out a little bit to get our particular plays rolling. So now our copy of the Tatsunoko will be special summoned back since it was discarded, and we have a little bit more advantage now. So we have some cool plays here. I would go ahead and banish my copy of Ancient Cloak and add from my deck to the hand a copy of the Silent Boots. So once we get Silent Boots, we can then use Silent Boots and special summon it onto our side of the field because we have a Phantom Knight monster. Now I would go ahead and link these two together, and my go-to play in this deck, my go-to play is always Cherubini as a stepping stone, because you can send a copy of one of your Malabranches from your deck to the graveyard, which will then in turn special summon another Malabranch, will get you a rank 3 play. So what I'm going to send from deck to graveyard is a copy of my Graph. I'm going to send Graph off the copy of the Cherubini to then special summon from the deck a copy of Seer from the deck, which is going to help us out a little bit to get the copy of Seer from the deck, because you only play 2, so it's going to help you thin the deck a little bit as well. And since you special summon to a zone that the copy of your Cherubini points to, then it's not going to destroy itself, which is going to be super helpful to get you additional plays, and I really like that effect. Now, at this point, you have a lot of different routes that you could go for. I would just go ahead and make sure that you banish your copy of Silent Boots, because you're going to get to use its effect to be able to search a Phantom Knight spell or trap, which kind of depends on what you want, you grab your Rusty Bardige, not Rusty Bardige, but you grab your Shade Brigadine if you want to grab Shade Brigadine to get you additional plays and additional monsters on your side of the field. You could grab your Rank Up Magic Spell, which is a quick play, I will mention, to get you a negation on your side of the field, and it gets you no TK. It kind of depends on you, but you're going to get your Fog Blade later, so it's not that big of a deal just to grab the copy of the Rank Up Magic Spell off your copy of the Phantom Knights of Silent Boots, because it is a Phantom Knights force. So it is Phantom Knight in its name, so you can grab that from the deck. So now that we have this particular play going off, we have normal summon this turn, we have special summoned a bunch, but you can now overlay if you want to, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to overlay this Seer, and I'm going to overlay this copy of the Danger Tatsunoko, and I'm going to overlay into a copy of Leveneer the Sea Dragon, which is really important in this deck, because you're going to use that copy of Leveneer to send the copy of Seer to the graveyard to bring back a copy of your Silent Boots to your side of the field, but make sure you don't summon it here, because your copy of Seer will now trigger special summoning Graph back to your side of the field, which then you can link these two together to summon your Rusty Bardige. So now that you have Rusty Bardige here or over here, I would probably recommend summoning it over here. You can use its effect that during your main phase, you can send a Phantom Knight card from your deck to the graveyard, and then when you do, you get to set a Phantom Knight spell or trap directly from your deck. So now that the Phantom Knight of Rusty Bardige is over there, you can send your copy of your Stained Greaves, or you can send your copy of Ragged Gloves. I would probably send Ragged Gloves and then use the Ragged Gloves to send a copy of Stained Greaves or the copy of the Phantom Knight Sword. You could probably send the Sword and it would probably work even better, because you're going to get multiple negations and multiple revives. So now that we have the copy of the Sword in the graveyard, we can get a revive out of the grave, which is going to be helpful to be able to banish this card and get back our copy of our Phantom Knights of Torn Scales, which is going to help out quite a lot, because it's just going to get it while back on your side of the field. You can also, when you banish your copy of your gloves, this will actually special summon itself back, so you can leave that in the graveyard if you want to, because it has the ability that if this card is in your graveyard and you banish a Phantom Knight, another Phantom Knight monster, while this card's in the graveyard, you can just special summon it back but banish it when it leaves the field. So you can just get it right back if you want to, and you also can get back some of your other Phantom Knight monsters. So we're going to go ahead and overlay both of these right here, which is going to get you an additional play on your side of the field, which you could go for a second Chaos Dragon Leveneer to get another monster on your side of the field, or not Chaos Dragon Leveneer, but Leveneer the Sea Dragon, excuse me, those two mess me up all the time. You could summon out the second copy of this, or you can summon out your Break Sword if you want to go for Break Sword. It just kind of depends on which way you want to go. I would probably go for the Sea Dragon. I don't know, that might be overcommitting. Let's go ahead and go into the copy of our Break Sword, and don't forget that when you send this to graveyard, or when you send that Phantom Knight to graveyard, which is the Ragged Gloves, you will get another copy of a Phantom Knight card set to your side of the field, which is going to be your third copy of Fog Blade, because we opened up Fog Blade as well. So now you can just end like this if you want to, set your back row just like this, and you have plenty of plays right here to go off in the next turn. I would probably have made this in defense position just so I can kind of hold on to what I have. And then you also have your copy of your Break Sword with three dark monsters in the graveyard that you can then use to go into a copy of your Arc Rebellion during your opponent's turn, which is going to be really cool. You have 3 negates in the back row, you have an extra OTK if you need it, and you have a Malabranch in hand later if you need it, and then you draw into a tour guide and you're just insanely and okay. So you have plenty of plays here, as you guys can see, and you have the 3 copies, like I said, of Fog Blade that is just going to help you out insanely, to be able to just hit your opponent 3 times with different you can use the Fog Blade 3 different times, which is going to be super helpful. And you can only use its effect once per turn to banish it, but you can negate any effect that you want, which is really cool just to negate additional cards. So that's it for the first test hand, and that is actually starting off very, very strong with Phantom Knights. And I am really excited. Actually, now I'm like really excited to get them in the mail now that I'm seeing this. Like before, like I was really excited to play them on Yugioh Pro and play them on Project Ignis and stuff like that. But playing them here, like in person and doing like test hands with them, it's so much different, and it's so much crazier to actually like get them. And you probably have actually caught me on Project Ignis going into casual, because I play casual on there and join into the servers sometimes as DarkArmedDuelist, and you guys might see me out there playtesting decks for the channel. I will give you guys that little tidbit and little tip that sometimes I'm actually out there and you will catch me and play against me, which is kind of cool. So let's go ahead and see what we can do for this next test hand and see what we can pull off. So we're going to go ahead and see what we can do. So we're going to go ahead and draw into a copy of Tour Guide, Ghost Ogre, Torn Scales, Kagamusha Knight, and another Ghost Ogre. So this is not bad at all. You've got plenty of plays to go off against your opponent. You have the normal summon that you can normal summon out the copy of your Torn Scales, and you can block your opponent with the Kagamusha Knight from hand trapping you, because you have the copy of Kagamusha Knight that when you normal summon a level 3, you can just special summon it, so they can't really chain to the Tour Guide because you can chain block it, which is kind of cool. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys that one really quick. Normal summon out the Tour Guide, and then immediately special summon out the copy of the Kagamusha Knight chaining to it, and it chain blocks it, which is kind of cool. We then go ahead and special summon from the deck a copy of our... Let's see, we're going to special summon out a copy of Graph, because Graph is going to help us dig into the deck a little bit to be able to get our copy of Seer. Now, you know what's going to happen now. We're going to go ahead and go into Cherubini. Cherubini's effect is going to activate after the copy of Graph. So we're going to go ahead and resolve Graph really quick, and we're going to special summon out a Seer from the deck to be able to get it onto our side of the field as quickly as possible. And it's not going to get destroyed because it's in a zone that a Link monster, or a zone that a Cherubini is pointing to. And then you can use your copy of Cherubini to send a level 3 monster from our deck to our graveyard, which is going to be pretty good to send a level 3 from the deck to the graveyard, because I'm going to send a copy of Torn Scales from our deck to the graveyard to be able to grab it back with a copy of another monster. So we're going to send that Torn Scales from deck to graveyard because we're going to have plenty of ways to get it back. So we have plenty of card advantage here. So we're going to go ahead and link summon. Actually, I'm going to overlay again for the copy of my Sea Dragon Levineer. This card is ridiculous in this deck, I have to say. You're going to go ahead and overlay these two, detach, or actually no, you don't have anything banished yet, so you can't go for that. We're going to back up a second, put these back right there, and we're going to see, let me see what I can actually go for. You could actually use the copy of Graph right here, or you could go for like Masquerena, or you could just go directly in if you wanted to for your copy of Bardige, which is probably what I'm going to do because I don't really have anything kind of crazy yet. We don't have any Phantom Knights other than that in the graveyard. So yeah, we're going to go that route. We're going to go ahead and link summon these two together. No effect on the Seer because the Seer is just going to pop the card that it summons. Summon out the copy of the Kagamusha, or you have the Kagamusha Knight on the field. Go ahead and have the copy of Rusty Bardige. Now, Rusty Bardige's effect is going to activate and resolve, which is going to send a copy of your Silent Boost from deck to graveyard, and then it's going to let you set from your deck to your side of the field a copy of your Fogblade. So go ahead and set that Fogblade to your side of the field. And then now you have the Kagamusha Knight, and you can banish your copy of Boots, and then Boots will actually have a chain with your copy of your Torn Scales, which then will trigger and let you grab a copy of a Phantom Knight Spell or Trap, which can be your copy of Shade Brigandine, or it can be a copy of any of your other cards you particularly need. I'm going to go ahead and grab a copy of Fogblade because we're going first and trying to set up. It's going to help out quite a lot to just go ahead and set up with that copy of your Fogblade. So we're going to go ahead and grab out that copy of Fogblade and set it to our side of the field immediately, and then you can activate the copy of your Torn Scales to discard a copy of Torn Scales from your deck to the graveyard. Well, you can't from your deck to the graveyard. Yeah, you can discard any card, so you can discard the Torn Scales. Discard Torn Scales, and then it's going to send a Phantom Knight card from your deck to the graveyard as well, which is going to help you out really, really, really well, because you can send a copy of Ancient Cloak, which then you can banish and search a Phantom Knight monster, which can be your copy of your Silent Boots, which we haven't special summoned Silent Boots this turn, so you can just special summon out that copy of Silent Boots, which then you can overlay these two together and go for Sea Dragon. Detach the material of the Silent Boots to be able to special summon back the Ancient Cloak to your side of the field, because now you have Silent Boots and Ancient Cloak, and overlay these two for the copy of your Nightmare, or not Nightmare, but overlay for the copy of your your break sword. So now you have this field. You have pretty much the same thing that you had last time, except you're missing one copy of the rank up magic and you're missing the copy of your third fog blade, but you also have the ghost ogre and you have set up for next turn, which that will be banished. No, that one wasn't banished. It's still attached. You have the copy of your silent boots that you can then banish if you want to, and you still have plays for days. So you have the 2 hand traps as well. So let's go ahead and do one more quick one. That was insane. As you guys can see, this deck is very, 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 very consistent at throwing out fields like that, and I am really excited for this deck to be able to play around with it outside of Yugioh Pro, and it's just a super fun deck. I'm going to try and do some live duels with this at some point. I don't know when it's going to be, but I'm going to try and do some live duels with this. So let's go ahead and see what we can pull off in this next one. So shuffle this one right up real quick. And put those back. We're not going to do as long as that last one. We're going to see, well, we might. Let's just see what we pull off. So let's see what we can do in this next one. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to see what we can do. Let's see. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Bait them with the copy of Rhoda. And we're going to search. If they don't stop it, I would search Fan 9 Special Summon. Then you can special summon this card from your hand. Then you can increase his level by 1. So we're going to go ahead and grab the copy of Stained Greaves. I'm going to show you guys a really cool combo of Stained Greaves. We're going to go grab Stained Greaves. We're going to normal summon the copy of Torn Scales. Torn Scales is just going to card the copy of Tour Guide. Tour Guide is going to send your copy of Ancient Cloak. And it is going to shuffle the deck really quick to be able to just send something from deck to graveyard. And then you're going to use the copy of the, let's see, can I grab that? I'm pretty sure I can. Yeah, I can. Okay, so I'm going to grab this really quick, which is the Shade Brigandine. We're going to banish that to add this, set it, and then immediately activate it because I want to show you guys how to go into Raiders Night. Special summon this, and since it was special summon, you get to special summon out your copy of your Phantom Knight of Stained Greaves, which has the ability that this card is, if a Phantom Knight monster is special summoned to your field, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand and then increase his level by 1. So we're going to increase his level by 1, and we're going to overlay both of these because they're level 4s for your copy of your... where is it? We're going to summon out the Cavalry, which is Raiders Night, and then you can link these two together and summon out your Cherubini, which is going to help you dig a little bit more into the deck to be able to send from your deck to the graveyard your copy of... Let's see, where is it? Graph, which will then special summon Seer, and then your Seer will then, let's see, how do I want to play this now? I know how I want to play this. I want to banish the copy of Boots to be able to grab my copy of Fogblade. Set the, actually I'll hold that. I'll hold the Fogblade in hand for now. We're going to have the copy of our stained or torn scales come back to our side of the field, which is ridiculous. And then we're going to overlay. We're going to overlay these two together right here for a Sea Dragon, make it sure it's in defense, detach the Sea Dragon, which then will special summon back the Boots, and then the Seer will special summon back the Graph. And then you will link these two together, summon out the Rusty, and then Rusty's effect will trigger and send a copy of literally any card that you need at this point because you've already gotten pretty much everything you needed. We're going to get that, and we're going to send... Does it have to be a monster? I don't think it has to be a monster. Yeah, it has to be a monster. Yeah, you can send a Phantom Knight monster. I thought it was any monster or any card, but I guess not. We're going to go ahead and send a copy of the Ragged Gloves from our deck to the graveyard. And then once you do, you're going to have plenty of plays to be able to banish this if you want to be able to send a Phantom Knight card from your deck to the graveyard, which can be now the Sword, which we're going to send. Shuffle the deck up again really quick. And now that we've sent that to the graveyard, you can banish it and get back your copy. Oh, no, we don't. We don't have anything else in the graveyard. Once you send that to the graveyard, well, do we want to go that route? Do we want to send that to the graveyard? Do we want to backtrack? No. We're gonna load the graveyard. That's fine. Set these face down and pass turn. That's insane. You have 2 negates, you have 2 XZs, and then this can go into your big boy boss monster as well, which is the Arc Rebellion during your opponent's turn, which is really good, or it can go into Arc Rebellion when you need it. You have an impermanence set, you have 3 negates set right here, and then next turn, if they don't deal with the Sea Dragon, then you're just going to get more plays. And as soon as they hit any of these cards, you're just going to immediately get the copies of the Phantom Knights in the graveyard to be able to reuse them. So that's it for this test hand, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. The Phantom Knights are this crazy. I will say they are legitimately this crazy. You might have seen different routes that I could have gone, and there might be different texts that you play, and that's okay. Definitely comment those down below. I always love to see how you guys actually build your decks as well, because it gives inspiration to everybody else in the community, which is really cool. I like that when you guys actually comment down below and say, oh, you could have done this, this, and this instead of going this route, because it gives alternative ideas, and that's what we're about here on DarkArmedDuelist. I don't always have the perfect way of playing this particular field. I don't always have the perfect way of showing you guys this, but somebody might in the comments, and I love these decks, and I know how to play them, and I know how to show you the combos, but sometimes somebody will see, oh, you can do that, and it's cool. So anyways, guys, this is DarkArmedDuelist. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell in there so you can come part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below because we have some awesome rewards, guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.